A card. Just want to remind you, on the back of the card is an area where you can get a stamp from the vendor, and then once it's all filled up, bring it in and you get another raffle ticket. And we got some local prizes. There will be a survey at the end of the conference. Please make sure to take a moment and complete it. We would like your feedback. Thank you for joining us, and let's make this a memorable and enriching event. Thank you.
Well, I will say again, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Are you awake? Yeah. My name is Tara Parham. I am your vice president for today and until it's all done. Amen. All righty, you guys. We're going to have our land acknowledgement play.
The County of Los Angeles recognizes that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, the Kakavian, Serrano, Quiche, and Chumash peoples. We honor and pay respect to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging, as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and to elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. We are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native peoples and local tribal governments, including, in no particular order, the Fernandino Tatavian Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California Tribal Council, the Gabrielino Tongva San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians, Quiche Nation, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, the San Fernando Band of Mission Indians.
Now I will read to you our labor acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge our debt to the enslaved people, primarily of African descent, whose labor and suffering built and grew the economy and infrastructure of a nation that refused to recognize their humanity. While the 13th Amendment to the Constitution technically ended slavery in the U.S., we know that slavery's ongoing impacts are still felt by countless people forced through violence, threats, and coercion to work in the U.S. We acknowledge our collective debt to the indigenous people of this land whose labor was forced and exploited, the Chinese immigrants who built railroads that allowed for Westwood American development, Japanese Americans whose properties and livelihood were taken from them while incarcerated during World War II, and immigrant workers from the Philippines, Mexico, Central and South America who have worked Pacific Northwest farms and canneries. We recognize the immigrants and American-born workers of African, Asian, Central, and South American descent, whose labor remains hidden in the shadows, but still contributes to the well-being of our collective community. We recognize that our economy continues to rely on the exploited labor of incarcerated people, largely people of color, who earn pennies an hour while generating billions in goods and services each year. And we know that there are many other people, too numerous to mention, who are prevented from reaping the true value of their labor by unjust systems and cruel practices. We acknowledge that the theft of labor is the theft of generational progress. Nearly all people of color have been robbed of the opportunity and wealth that their ancestors might otherwise have passed to them. Thank you. Next, we're going to hear the Black National Anthem, lift every voice and sing. Can we all rise and sing along, membership chair.
Robert Epperson, second vice president.
Marla Pearson, Professional Development Committee.
Shamika Crawford, parliamentarian.
Marina Turner, recording secretary.
Charmaine Dorsey, Social Impact and Community Support.
And good morning and welcome to Laura Ellis, and that's Laura
So if you didn't know, now you know. Next on program, I will introduce this gentleman to you. His name is Mr. Andre Spicer. Andre Spicer is a successful entrepreneur, community activist, politician, and catalyst for change. Throughout his life, Andre has continually overcome obstacles to make a positive impact on those around him. As a lifelong time Compton resident, Andre is proud to call Compton his home for himself, his family, and his 3 businesses. With each venue, Andre fills voids in the community, provides jobs, and improves the quality of life for others. Andre founded Waterworks Compton to make healthy, consumable products accessible to Compton community, as well as Natural Live Hair Salon, a space that's dedicated to helping women love their natural hair and beauty. Andre takes pride in elevating voices and giving others a platform. He established the Hub radio station to provide a space to address ongoing issues in urban society. Andre and others routinely interview government officials, authors, industry experts, and more. Taking action is something Andre is well known for. As a well-reputed entrepreneur, community advocate, and citizen of Compton, Andre was elected as the City of Compton's councilman for District 2. Come on, yeah, you gotta stop. He continues to use his various platforms to promote the social and economic well-being of Compton's residents. On any given day, you can find Andre improving one of his businesses, volunteering in the community, or working with others to solve problems in the Compton area. Yeah. The councilman, Compton councilman, Mr. Andre.
Thank you, Ms. Parham, for that warm introduction. How y'all doing today?
Great.
I need some good energy. Y'all
Come on now.
Like she said, my name is Andre Spicer. I serve as a councilman in the city of Compton, but I'm also the mayor pro tem in the city of Compton. It's amazing to be invited here. It's a blessing to be asked to be a speaker in this meeting right here. I'm just honored to be here. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I'd like to just thank the organizers for just putting this together, for having me speak today. Thanks for your commitment to engagement and building a stronger, brighter future for our community. I'm proud to stand alongside of you all. As President Lincoln once said, you cannot escape the responsibility of today by evading, you can't escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading today. This quote it resonates with me deeply because it reminds us that the important truth that the responsibility to create the future is ours, is on us for today. Yes. How many of you know that power isn't given, but it's taken?
That part.
No one's ever brought you a plate of power and asked you to have a pizza.
Right.
And so the truth is, we all have power. You know, we have the same amount of power when we come into this space. And that power is our voice. That voice is used very differently. A lot of people use that voice differently. Some people use it to vote. Some people use it to voice their concerns. Some people use it to activate change. Some people use it to discourage injustice. Sadly, some of us don't use it at all. The power of our collective voice is immense, and history shows us that. Let's look at examples in African American history where communities rose to the occasion, lifted their voices in unison, and pushed for the change that reshaped the fabric of America. As we think about it, it's the logical truth, right? Multiple candles in a dark room creates light. Let's take a moment right now just to reflect on some of these powerful movements that harness the strength of collective voices. One of those being the Black Panther Party, which launched survival programs such as free food and health care.
Yes.
It challenged police brutality and it fostered political awareness. We also have the civil rights movement, where nonviolent protests, sit-ins, boycotts, and marches led to end the fight of racial segregation. We have the Black Power movement of the 1960s, which emphasized racial pride, self-determination, and political and economic power, fueled by people such as Malcolm X. The Chicano movement, advocating for the rights and justice of our Mexican Americans. And of course, the Black Lives movement, Black Lives Matter movement, calling attention to police violence and systematic injustices. These movements are not just movements of history, but these are examples of how we can organize and stay intentional as we build a powerful future through unity. Excellence is a habit. Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but it's a habit. Organization is in our blood. It's in our DNA. But the truth is, we wait for adversity. We wait for trauma. We wait for crisis to motivate us. We wait for pain or injustices to move us into action. But we can't just react to hardship. We have to build for a better tomorrow, starting today.
Yes.
Even when things are going well, it's our responsibility to move the needle forward for progress for our future tomorrow.
Yes.
So I asked myself, what makes effective community organizing? And one of the first things that come to mind is respect, logic, and selflessness. We must respect each other's perspectives, use logic to unite on common goals, and be selfless enough to put our community's needs ahead of our own. There's another quote that I like. It says, the price of greatness is responsibility. And that's from Winston Churchill. We all strive for some form of greatness, whether that's through personal growth or, more importantly, through collective transformation. But with greatness comes responsibility. The responsibility to lead, to engage, and to create lasting change. I'm going to give you a little bit about my story. Prior to running for office, like many of you, I faced the daily challenges that come with living in a community where resources are limited, opportunities are scarce, and injustices are far often overlooked. But I made the decision to run for office. And because I saw an opportunity to amplify my voice and voices of so many others who felt unheard. My campaign wasn't about winning an election. It was about giving a voice to those who had been marginalized, ignored, and felt left behind. When the election results came in, we faced obstacles. Now, I'm going to go off script right here because I just want to be direct.
Come on now. That's
I ran for office. They told me I lost by 1 vote.
one.
Exactly, right? 1 vote, 1 single vote. And couldn't believe it because our campaign was so on point. I spoke to the people from the community and they know exactly who I am. And so I didn't believe it. So we looked for voter fraud. We found it. We turned it into the district attorney's office, and about 3 weeks later, they arrested the incumbent and about 4 other people.
Come on now.
It would be months before I got a chance to get in front of the judge. But I also found out that if I lost, or if they lost that criminal case, that didn't mean I was awarded my seat. That didn't sit well with me. So I had to figure out a way, and that was to sue for my seat.
Come on.
So it took me 8 months to get in front of a judge. It took 3 months, well, 2 days of the trial and 3 months of deliberation. And a whole murder later. You guys can look that up later. It's a whole, it's a movie.
Come on.
And it was 364 days to the day of the election that the judge appointed me to serve as the rightful owner, the rightful winner, District 2 City Council person. So everything that we do today affects our future. Generational impact is key. We must not just work for the generations that will come after us, but we have to do exactly what the generation did that came before us. Since taking office, I've had the privilege of working alongside countless dedicated individuals who've helped me move forward on initiatives that address our community's most pressing needs. Together, this is one of the most things I'm proud of. We helped to expunge over 600 people of their criminal records. This allows people an opportunity for a second chance. Obviously, we all come from the same background, the same communities. We know that having a criminal record can prevent us from work, being housed, from just getting into certain programs. So giving those people a second chance in my community was key to addressing public safety. Another thing that we did, we helped to house 250 residents. We've connected 150 residents to employment opportunities. We addressed illegal dispensaries, generating over $144 million for the city of Compton.
Wow.
We've installed calming devices to curb dangerous street takeovers. Anybody familiar with street takeovers? See, we weren't getting the support that we might have needed from our sheriff department. In respect to anybody that's part of the sheriff department, no shade there, but I wanted to be able to address some of these concerns without always taking someone to jail.
Yeah.
And these calming devices have really helped us out tremendously as they completely stopped all the street takeovers in our community. I've revitalized every park in my district, making it a safe space for families. We provided free dental and vision care for our residents.
Yes.
We've invested in the workforce development, ensuring a brighter future for our young people. We've distributed groceries to over 15,000 families and provided over 200 gallons of gas for people in need.
Wow.
Now these are cultural, generationally impactful actions that make real difference in the lives of people who need it the most. These efforts address not only the visible problems, but the invisible struggles as well. Those that we don't always see, but we feel deeply. For the mother that couldn't afford gas to get her child to school. For the father that struggles to put food on the table and chooses not to commit crimes, even though despite the lack of opportunity that he has. For the employees who feel taken advantage of, no voice, and they feel unrepresented beyond their 8 hours shift. For the child that had nothing but sleep to eat for dinner last night. As an elected official for organizations like the Los Angeles County African Americans Employees Association, we must ensure that our work aligns with the values and the needs of our community.
Yes.
Not just for the politics of the moment. We're not just constituents.
Yeah.
We're people. We're fathers, we're mothers, grandparents, we're aunts, we're uncles, we're sons, and we're daughters. We are LA County. We will continue to strive for progress and always looking for a better today than it was yesterday. So today I challenge you all, don't wait till you need to organize. Organize today.
Come on.
Begin setting goals for your community right now. Identify pathways for a brighter future. Not today, today, not tomorrow.
Right.
Let's be proactive. Let's be the change that we seek, not only for ourselves, but for the future. Thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your attention. Thank you for your commitment to making Los Angeles a better place for all of us. Again, my name is Andre Spicer. I serve as your mayor pro tem in the city of Compton. I ask that you all follow me on social media under Andre Spicer. I also ask that you all log on to my website, andrespicerformayor.com.
Okay.
Shameless plug right here. No, in all honesty, guys, I really definitely appreciate you guys for taking the time to give me undivided attention, hearing me out. Thank you again for the invite to Ms. Bryan, to the whole Los Angeles County African American Employees Association. I definitely appreciate you. There's a lot of familiar faces I see in here today. Thank you guys all for being so supportive of me. And last, again, my name is Andre Spicer. Thank you for y'all.
Let's see how many Compton residents we have in here. Look at that. That's my councilman. Yes, yes. As he was reading all those things, I was thinking, wow, I think I want to move to Compton. You know, I think I might have to look that up there. So next, we're going to introduce Miss Kelly Johnson, just to give you a little about Kelly. Ms. Johnson, number of years in the county service is 1.4. Wow, 1.4 years. The hardest thing she's ever done was pass the bar exam. Come on, give her a hand. And the way she likes to relax is time at or on the beach. I'm not mad at you. Miss Johnson.
from Compton. But currently, I am a recovering trial lawyer, and I serve as an assistant executive officer in the executive office for the Board of Supervisors.
Yes.
Not the CEO's office, the executive office. And I'm happy to be here today to be your moderator for the new departments, new opportunities to serve panel. May I have my panelists join me on the stage? This distinguished group of executives that we have here start with, to my left, Kelly Lobianco, the first director of the Los Angeles County Department of Economic Opportunity. Sitting to her left is Ms. Maral Karakusi, Interim Director of the Aging and Disabilities Department. Next to her is Mr. Robert Robinson, Jr., Justice Program Director for the LA County Justice Care and Opportunities Department. And lastly, Mr. David Carroll, Director of Los Angeles County Department of Youth Development. Now, because of our limited time, I want to jump right into some questions for you. But in answering your question, can you please tell us a little bit about who you are too and the work that you do? So we'll start off this question for all of you. What inspired you to help with or be a part of the creation of your department? And how does equity factor into your department's mission? Can we start with Kelly?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much. Good morning. Yeah, thanks so much for having me today. I'm so happy to be here with you all. So I'm the director of the LA County Department of Economic Opportunity. We are the county's first economic development agency, and we're a unique one because we are a little bit of a merger of different policy shops and programs and services that existed throughout LA County in advance of our creation in July 2022. So the county always did economic development. We supported workers and small businesses in our communities through our America's Job Centers of California and Office of Small Business. We had programs for training or entrepreneurship or facade improvement. We would look at commercial corridors and vacant county properties and redevelop them. But it wasn't coordinated. And when you look at a county as large as ours, we needed an economic development department that could actually meet the needs of 10 million people in 4,000 square miles. So that is sort of that was like ringing in the ears of the Board of Supervisors and the county departments and the community for a long, long time before I ever came around and before this department ever came around. But the department really was catalyzed because of the pandemic. So the Board of Supervisors was looking at over 700,000 jobs lost in the first couple months of the pandemic, tens of thousands of permanently or temporarily shuttered businesses. And the time is now to think about how we support an equitable recovery, but moreover, taking in that sound in the ear for so long, like how do we support a more equitable economy overall? And so they created the Department of Economic Opportunity. And I am so pleased and honored and have the privilege day in and day out of doing the hardest job I've ever done, which is helping create this department. I came to this space because I have been in economic development my whole career in DC and in New York and now in Los Angeles. I studied political science But I went from the federal to the state to the local to a community-based organization and now here to Los Angeles County government because I was always trying to figure out how do we take all these huge dollars for economic development, because the economy is on everybody's mind, doesn't matter what your perspective is. You know, it's at the federal level and it's at the kitchen table. But I wanted to see how it played out for the people. And that was always my interest. Like, how do we take the dollars that we have and the resources that we have in government and make sure we actualize real impact for our communities? And so I would say our department thinks about equity because we want to do economic development differently. It's not growth for growth's sake. Like I always say, it's about making sure that we are driving inclusive and sustainable growth for our region, that there's opportunity and mobility for all, and that we reinvest those dollars right here locally. So that's a little bit of my spiel, and I'll pass it to Ron.
Thanks, Kelly. I think I could represent the Board of Supervisors when we disassembled. How many of you guys remember Workforce Development and Aging and Community Services? I called it, sorry, the junk drawer of the county. Because I think it was like, how do you combine workforce development and aging, especially when you have an aging demographic. So I was intimately involved. I used to work for Supervisor Hahn for almost 8 years, so I might look familiar to some of you, hopefully. But when the opportunity posed itself with Dr. Trejo was supposed to be here. She retired, and then the Board of Supervisors did a round of interviews, and I was one of the candidates, and I got appointed. So I have had this role since September 2nd. Thank you. It's been fun, to say the least, but I think for me, just kind of understanding the demographic that we are facing with aging and both the disabilities communities. We're doubling in size. We're going to have, I think we have more older people than we do have little kids. So whenever I talk to the 0 to 5 folks, I'm like, hey, once a man, twice a baby, we all end up in diapers again. So can we kind of do this intergenerational, multiple generational work? That line is going to get so old, so I need to figure out what else I need to say as the department head. But I think the fact of the matter is, what we envisioned, I think from a theoretical standpoint, right, as a policy deputy, I get to like do a motion on a Tuesday, get to 3 votes, and it gets approved. Obviously, I do more consensus building and connect with community and staff, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not doing things in a silo, or I didn't do things in a silo. But I think the intent of this department was, how do we prioritize both aging and disabilities communities? And so what's gonna be a fun experiment for me, and it's always the through line here is with equity. So I think it's a matter of trying to really build out a cohesive system that represents not just like Los Angeles County, but how do we do it as a region with all 88 cities? I mean, and I think that's a daunting task. And one of the biggest programs we have is our biggest program is Adult Protective Services. I could probably sit down with all of you, to our exclusion of you, because you probably know where all the bodies are buried. But really understand how APS has impacted your life, or maybe it hasn't. So how do I fundamentally address some of the root issues that are happening there, right? And I think, so I can go on and on about some of the things that I've been encountering in the last 6 weeks. But this is it's a great opportunity to implement, to partner together, and to continue doing the work to impact the change in community as much as we can, because we do have so many decisions we need to make. In the back of my mind was like, how do we do a dedicated fund? Sorry, Kelly, and anyone else on this, but for the aging folks, San Francisco has a dignity fund. So I think part of it is we can kind of really map this out and really keep people gracefully growing at home and not going to facilities or entering. The largest growing demographic of unhoused people is older adult women. You look at the race breakdown. I don't need to say that right now to this entire room. You see the impact that this is happening, and the endemic racism that exists, and who's getting impacted and who's ending up in our streets. So how do we go more upstream? How do we focus on keeping people at home? How do we focus on securing homes so people can stay at home with their loved ones or their the people that care for them? And how do we increase those resources? This is something that I'm always thinking about aspirationally. But we have limited funds, and these are dire times, so we're gonna have to be creative and plan for the next 2-3 years when maybe brighter days will be here. But I won't get too negative on where I think we are politically, because I don't think that's the right forum right now. But I will hand it up. Thank you.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Robert Robinson. I'm a Justice Program Director at JCAAEA. So you all probably familiar, see a lot of people with the purple shirts around. That's JCAAEA running around, the county in every place. And many of you probably know or may not know how JCAAEA was created along with UID. It's coming from a board motion that was passed back in 2022, March of 2022, to reimagine how we are doing the justice system or the justice programs that we are doing in the county, and specifically, of course, for our department and working with the adult population. JCAAEA was kind of, birthed under, the Whole Person Care Initiative, which is part of the Department of Health Services and under the Office of Diversion and Reentry, the Reentry Division. And a lot of the framework that was developed under there, we were a part of, scaling up in a sense, and creating these sustainable programs that are transforming lives, as I like to say, for the individuals that we are, serving. From our Reentry Anticipation Management Service program that was launched in 2017, and then that kind of scaled up and being able to branch out to offer additional, programs from workforce development, from housing, for gender-specific programs. We have a program that's designed specifically for women called Power, providing opportunities for women in reentry. And we have housing components that attach to that, for women, and children. So understanding, the gaps and understanding the systems that continue to impact our communities is something that we are geared towards and mission-driven, right? Collaborating with community-based organizations and delivering direct, services. I say that they are the real superheroes. They're on the ground level every single day, right? Supporting these individuals that are returning home from incarceration, those who have been impacted by, the justice system, throughout our community. So our mission and our focus is to continue to break down the silos, continue to advocate, for the community, people who have been voiceless, for many years. And with that, we've been able to, scale up on our programs. We've been able to offer, our incubation academy, for a lot of small or new nonprofit organizations, right? I think we spent about $100 or like $200 million just giving out grants, for these past couple of years through our CFCI, Care First Community Investment, initiative. So everything that we do is in alignment with the county's, right, Care First Jails Last approach, and the work that other colleagues are doing, with closing down Main Central Jail. We want to ensure that those individuals that are exiting, right, are returning back to the community with care and support. We have launched our Justice Connect Support Center as a call center that operates 7 days out of the week, from 6 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m. That was driven by community and by individuals in a carceral setting where they said, hey, once we are released, we don't know where to go. We don't know who to call. We don't know which direction to go to. And by that, and collaborating, hearing the voices of our community, we have had opportunity to create this call center, approach. And since then, we serve about 38,000 individuals, right, that have called our line, that gets connected to our wraparound holistic supportive services, who are able to get corporate minders, who are able to get transportation services, to and fro their destinations. So, we are really mission driven. We really are focused on the community. We want to eliminate, these barriers, as well as the silos that's been created, and we want to be able to continue to support these opportunities and have a continued access of care, for the community members that we serve.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but there was no way that I was going to miss my opportunity to be at the LACAAEA Annual Education Conference. I think all the time, and I'm really looking forward to talking with my people. Every year, I enjoy the Man Cave so much, spending time with other Black LA County employees, just talking about things, right? Things that we go through. So this is one of the events that come, hell or high water, I'm going to be here if I can. This work is deeply personal to me. Born into the foster care system, shortly thereafter adopted, shortly thereafter in a single parent household, in a city that is rampant with poverty, crime, and opportunities to get into mischief. I tried to take advantage of as much of that mischief as I possibly could. But fortunately, there were always caring adults who put their arms around me, whether it was for tutoring, whether it was for sports, as I got older, whether it was for internships, college prep, college, ended up going to all-black high school, 2 HBCUs, joined a black fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi. All of these organizations put their arms around me, and without all of them, plus some that I didn't mention, I certainly wouldn't be the person that I am today. It is my mission to do that for other young people, right? So that's why I do this work. We all know that LA County had been the largest incarcerator of young people for decades, and there had been community outrage for years. Around 2017, 2018, those voices actually started to come together and started to actually gain some traction at the Board of Supervisors level, as well as in the community. They commissioned a study on how could we treat young people differently in the juvenile justice system. And out of that was born Youth Justice Reimagined, which is the doctrine by which DYD was created. And it offers a roadmap on how to serve young people, from development, keeping them out of the system in the first place, through diversion, which is a second or a third chance for young people who have come into contact with law enforcement, through our reentry and facility services, where we work directly in the facilities with the young people, making sure they have the tools that they need so that when they make it home, they don't go back to a place that looks like where they were, because they may be going to an adult system, depending on their ages. So I try to make the point all the time, and we all have our lines. Youth development is public safety, right? Youth development is public safety. If you give young people what they need to thrive, you don't have to worry about them coming into these negative contacts with law enforcement. Oftentimes, our political leaders and other folks like to, nationally, like to put those two things at odds, right? Like giving young people resources is somehow making the public less safe. And that's absolutely not the case. If we talk about equity, again, I go to the facilities frequently. It's black and brown boys, right? And disproportionately black boys that are there. More black boys are pulled over, more black boys are detained, more black boys are incarcerated, fewer black boys receive diversion and other second chance opportunities. So everything we do is based in equity, not only of the young person receiving the service, but of the provider that is giving the service. So we contract with about 100 different organizations around LA County for those 3 different areas: development, diversion, reentry, right? We believe that the folks closest to the problem are closest to the solution. So we want to make sure that our community-based partners are empowered to make the changes in their community that they want to see. Did I get the beat? Did I get to wrap it up, buddy? All right. God, that's what I get for going last. They done brought Sandman out on me. See how okay it does? Well, I'll wrap it up with that. Development is public safety. Thank you.
Since Mr. Carroll threw that D9 love out there, you got other D9 love in the house? Yes? Yes, yes. Yes, all right. Now I want to talk about something that we can actually take and give to other county workers. What new opportunities are available to current county employees to contribute or transition into roles within your department? And what I'm talking about is beyond your traditional job opening. I'm talking about give us the tea on what skills or interdepartmental experiences that you are either looking for or you foresee being the most critical for your department. We'll start with you since you went last.
All right. That way the song won't come on. So we're a new department, right? So there are enormous opportunities for growth. We are always in the community, right? So I would urge you to come to our events, come to our community gatherings, come to our learning collaboratives that we have with other county departments, where we share what we're doing and ask for support from those departments. I was asked this question in my interview, right? The number one skill, right, is a commitment to young people and a belief that they can succeed. And I don't care if you are an attorney, if you are an accountant, if you are a direct service provider, That's the most important skill. So I want to make sure that everyone in my department has a commitment to the mission of the department, because if you don't, it's just not going to work. It is a different culture and it operates a different way. I would say that any specific skills in case management, working with young people, creating care plans that start the day that we meet that young person, all the way through when we push them out the nest, right, and hope to see them thrive on their own. We certainly are continuing to hire, so I would take a look, join our newsletter, and we've got a big event coming up, shameless plug to Mr. Spicer over here. November 14th is the Youth Summit. It's a yearly event that we have. It's Friday, it's at the Beehive. It's an all-day event. I would urge you all to try to attend if possible.
Thank you.
Just to kind of piggyback off what David was saying, it's similar to us, at JCAAEA. We are, it's a small department. We're actually about to turn 1 year old next Saturday, as a department. 3 years old, excuse me. Next Saturday, and we have been able to increase the number of individuals that are our workforce. We started off with 5 people. Now we're over like 100 people within our department, and it's just the commitment just over the years. From our advocacy work, we're working with the board offices, working with CEO's office to give these items so we can be able to help support the work that's needed, to help change, the complexity, right, of our community. We do have another shameless plug. We do have our JCAAEA Summit that's coming up as well. That's going to be Wednesday, November 19th. It's going to be in Inglewood at We Play Studios. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be entertainment. There's going to be a lot of different, information there. And just looking at, for individuals who have a passion for this work, similar to what, David just mentioned, right? This thing is all about purpose, right? It's not about a job. If you're looking for a job, then these departments are not where you should be applying for it. You should be purpose-driven, right? I have a saying like purpose over paper, right? And that's what's important for us, right? Because it takes a person that has a heart for this work. People with lived experience. We hire a lot of people with lived experience, because those are the individuals that can provide us, right, with great insight, great information of, right, how we reimagine the work that we're doing, and, employing, partnering again with community-based organizations within this work. So there's always opportunities for us to continue to bridge those gaps and break down those silos, develop different work groups that we can come in and help support, within this work, creating, a better pathway, for mentorship and opportunities for people that look like us to sit in executive, seats. Our, department head, Judge Harmstead, that you all probably seen and known, she's really like out there in the community a lot, right? And being a woman of color and a Black woman within this prominent position, right? She needs all the support that she can get. And having, individuals like myself and others that look like her, right? We have, we support her in her initiatives and in her efforts. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to be able to partner, create better, pathways, fellowship programs, so we can be able to hire, more individuals who are purpose-driven.
Thank you. Everything that I'm going to say this because I'm only 6 weeks in, and I know I'm being recorded, so this might bite me in the long run, but someone who's not so bureaucratic and can get me to yes. I think I don't know what happens within the bureaucracy, and I know I'm talking to a room full of county employees, but something happens about this is the risk, and this is why we've done this, and this is the history of why we've done it this way, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like common sense. And I realize more and more, I don't know if bureaucracy just bogs us down, and we're like, all right, gotta rubber stamp it and move it forward. So I want to be able to reinvigorate in my leadership style. I really want thought partners in my circle, people who are innovative in their thinking. Getting to yes is really important for me, while we still make the county happy, and obviously all of us have 5 bosses. So engaging with the supervisors is also very important. I didn't realize how much. It's very insightful, and I don't envy any of the departments now that I'm here. I'm like, oh, everything that the supervisors want, got it. I don't know why I was naive to that, maybe because I was on the youth floor and I was part of that clique, cabal, I don't know what you want to call it. But I think part of it is, it was always hard for me to wonder, why are you telling me like the limitations on how we can't do this? this, right? And so now that I'm here, I'm like, all right, let me practice what I'm teaching and actually try to get to yes. I'm only 6 weeks in. Talk to me in January, or maybe next year if I'm invited again. I'm gonna be like, never mind, scratch that, null and void. I'm not an attorney. I'm a social worker by education and training. Whatever, I don't know. I'm sorry, not to say whatever, but it's not. I didn't choose rocket science, right? Like I chose social work. I got a master's in social work, so my heart is always in community and serving community. So I think it's been interesting also to infuse that mentality with my executive team. Oh, if this funding stream goes away, we don't have transportation services for how long? Oh, 15 months. Are you okay with that? And I'm like, where are these conversations happening? And I'm like, okay, cool. How do we put an advocacy push on this? So it's hard for me not to be an advocate. I've always said I've been a wannabe community organizer. I worked for one of the best community organizers out there, and Ms. Bass, when I worked for her in Congress. So like that was always fun to learn from her exponentially. But I've been more of an advocate in my career than I have been an organizer. But I think through osmosis, I've learned a lot about organizing. So I think that's how I approach my work working with Supervisor Hahn, and that's how I want to approach my work. So you put pressure on me from the outside or maybe the inside so I can do the right thing. And that's what I expect from my team and what I want from community, from within the county employee associations and beyond.
I agree with all of my colleagues. So the Department of Economic Opportunity hit 3 years, like many of my colleagues here in July. So we're 3 years old and change. We're still hiring. And so I would say definitely check out our website. We've got a lot of emergency hire opportunities right now as well. So certainly in our workforce team, we're hiring for oversight of some of our job centers and our job training programs, our youth at work programs, as well as in our policy and strategy shop, among others. So definitely take a look. But I would say for me personally, when I'm thinking about what our department needs, I echo my colleagues. First and foremost, you have to be mission and vision aligned. Working in a brand new department that has a big, bold mission and vision, like all of my colleagues here, who's trying to reinvent public engagement with our communities and rebuild trust, dismantle systems, and support community well-being, we need a change mindset, and we're all building brand new departments that the infrastructure is not, the infrastructure is 3 years old, like frankly, and and that has a lot of benefits. You're not, in some ways, a 100-year-old department can be hard to move, and in a 3-year-old department, it might feel like you know exactly where you're going, but you don't know how to get there, and you might not have all the resources built yet for you. But if that excites you, if you have an entrepreneurial perspective, you can have a lot of agency in any of these new departments. I always say if you have a good, bright idea and you're willing to go for it, you're probably going to get a yes from our department. And then you need to be curious. I want folks to ask why 1,000 times until you truly understand. Because I think I have the same perspective of like, let's get to yes. I don't necessarily know what the right path is. You can tell me all the risks involved, but there's probably one that has less risk. That's good for us, and so let's go for it. And then I look for folks who can execute, get stuff done. Like we are here as public servants. We are here to serve our community. Impact is most critical, and so we have to chase it to the finish line, even though we operate in environments that are very, very hard to move. I'm just looking at some of my team, Shantae and Kocho, shout out to you all for being here. They've done so much this year, which is my last point, which is flexibility. They were at like all of our disaster recovery centers, like making sure folks knew about fire resources for fire impacted families. They're setting up economic opportunity days at the Skid Row Care Campus, developing brand new programs with 8109 funding that we got. Like it's, you can do it all, and you can be the owner of it in a small department, in a new department like ours. And so, I hope you consider joining one of our departments.
Thank you. I'm going to keep us on our schedule, but this is one last question that I need an answer as concise as you can give me about something that's important to all of us. How can LACAAEA members support or engage with your department efforts? Like, how can our members provide structured feedback, serve as a sounding board for new policies or initiatives? How can we get involved?
So I think I answered part of this with my first answer was to get involved, come to our events, come to the listening sessions, come to the shared learning opportunities. Make sure people know about DYD, right? I don't think that today, if this motion came up to create a Care First initiative, I don't think DYD would be created, right? I don't think JCOD would be created because the pendulum has shifted. When Mr. Spicer was speaking earlier about not waiting to organize until you need it, right? Start organizing now. We need to build up support for these types of initiatives now, right? Because the pendulum is shifting away from social justice, away from support, and we don't want to look up 4 or 5 years from now and see all of us merge back into one junk drawer of a department. That's what happened in the city, right? Just recently, their youth development, their aging, and their workforce was all merged. So we need to start advocating today, especially with all the headwinds that are against us, especially at the federal level, to make sure that we exist. And a good way to do that is make sure that people know what we're doing and know that what we're doing works. And I would echo that for my other partners.
Yeah, I agree. And just to add to that, there's opportunities for partnership and collaboration, especially with the forthcoming Black History Month. I think is celebrating 100 years, right? We are working on internally developing, right, an event and celebration, so there's opportunities there. Also, Second Chance Month is April. Prior to us as a county recognizing Second Chance Month 2 years ago, we didn't have, nobody knew what Second Chance Month was about, or the last week of April, which is Reentry Week. So I was able to draft a motion that the board passed to make the proclamation for Second Chance Month. So we do a lot of different events for Second Chance Month. We collaborated with Councilman Spicer in his district this year, have the expungement clinic and other things. So we do a lot of events, around, the county. So definitely partner with us on that, be an advocate and a voice, to see these outcomes that our department is producing, and ways that we can continue to fight, for, the betterment, and healing of our community.
I always made a commitment when I was early in my career that if I ever ended up in the ivory tower, that I wouldn't lose sight of what's happening in the community. And so I think that's been my commitment, because I would meet with executives and I'm like, how do you not know this is happening with our kids? So I started my career off in a group home, right? So how do you know it's not happening to our foster kids and our kids in our juvenile justice system? So in that same vein, I've kind of carried that credo within me. It's like I'm committed to just staying rooted in community. Because I think we can get stuck in, I'm going to talk about, I'm not a bureaucrat, but I'm trying not to be a bureaucrat, but I know I'm a bureaucrat. It's really hard when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I'm like, oh man, I'm a bureaucrat. So I need to be held accountable, so I've said that to my staff. I think, Delora, you were there when I talked to the APS supporters, and I was like, hey, hold me accountable, but give me time. So I don't know how long I have this runway in this sweet spot, but I'm committed to staying rooted and grounded in community, and I know we have several employee associations, and I know in Congress we used to have a quad caucus, so I don't know if we all come together, I don't know if we have it at the time. I also have my ace right there with Delora, so she can always just come and knock on my door, because I have an open door policy. So I'm committed to staying rooted in community. I think I can't conceptualize what dire times we are in, the Trump administration and the federal government shutdown. So it's going to be really important to hear from not only just how the county can be better, but also what impacts you're doing based on the era that we're in. Again, trying not to go dark, but it's pretty dark times right now. So I think we just all have to band together and really have a unified front on how we also fight back and resist. The time is now. I think we just have to really stay strong and united.
Thank you. I would say one, like where you can help us get the word out about about the programs and services and resources that we offer at DEO and my colleagues too, because we are new departments and we're building our presence in community. So the more we share with our networks and stakeholders and community members, that's really, really important. And then I would just say, to add to what my colleagues have said, is I think sometimes people think programs and services first, and we do offer direct no-cost programs and services, but we are also a policy shop, right? When you think of economic development, we are marshaling resources to our region, we are advocating for local, state, and federal legislation and policy, we're doing research and analysis that guides our investments. So I just ask you to think about those different things, and then as you're doing work, I know that the nexus of everybody's department, if there is a nexus with everyone's department to economic development, think of including us from that lens of programs and services or research and analysis or policy advocacy, and we're here to help and support and partner.
Thank you. Isn't this a wonderful panel? David, Robert, Ron, Kelly, thank you. And I hope you're going to be around a little while so folks can get a chance to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.